All right, friends, it's T, and I'm back with another video on guess who? Our favorite lifting, our steroid slave, lifting slave, gym slave, Sam Sulek. Now, I don't know what to call him, man. I guess you could call him a steroid slave because he relies on the steroid. He's a slave to the steroid because without that steroid, away go those fake muscles. And again, you're going to say, what do you mean by those fake muscles? Well, don't worry. I'm going to explain it in this. He's going to have a little conversation. But he is lifting here raw. This is what raw lifting looks like and not demonstrating. Demonstrating and raw. This is how you really work out in the gym. Yes, real lifting doesn't look pretty, man. That's the problem. And all you people are going to go, but he's not heavy, he's lifting heavy enough. Oh, but he's doing this and it's proper form, this and that, and do that. Man, when you're actually really serious about something, you're going to go all out or you're not going to go all out at all. Now, he's going all out, but I'll explain to you what type of gains he's getting and what he's actually really doing there. He is going to mention it in this video, and I'm going to use just a few things just to, show you what he is getting. Look at that.
Let's think. 2 sets of bench, basically. A superset of bench. So, 2 superset of bench. Followed by...
He's coming to check his muscle gains, how much he gained working out. It's called the pump.
Cable flies, 2 pec decks and then 1 fly, so that was what, 7 sets-ish? I can't even really remember. Just enough sets to the point where I feel like...
That question that you had, Steve, you asked me if there's a natural limit. Man, I don't know why you sent me that video. I try to explain to you. There's no natural limit. There's an MND size limit. You understand me? There's a muscle has a myonuclear domain size limit. Fat doesn't. Fat cells could keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger forever. But a muscle cell has an MND size limit. And if you want to get bigger through hypertrophy, those real muscles, you need to get more muscle cells and they get bigger. Okay, man. Now let's continue with this.
I've done enough work to stimulate growth as well as get a crazy pump. Or at least as crazy of a pump as I'm capable of getting in that specific lift. Those are pretty much...
You hear what he says? He's looking for the pump. Now, do you think that if protein synthesis exceeds this breakdown, protein builds muscle? Do you think protein gives you a pump when you work out? What gives you a pump when you work out? Huh? Carbohydrates. So you're an endurance athlete. You're getting a pump because you're an endurance athlete. Now, you're chronically lifting like he is. He's chronically lifting. Do you think you could break muscle every day? You're crazy. And then what? You're going to break muscle every day and your body is going to donate these nuclei, these muscle cells, and then they're going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Can you imagine a factory worker lifting boxes in a factory and all of a sudden every time he lifts a box, he gets a donation of these cells and then they get bigger and it never ends and he keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger forever? What do you think is going to happen? He's going to commit suicide and kill himself and die. That's why it's protected. It's protected from that. It's also protected from damage because if you do get any damage in your muscle fibers and the satellite cell does donate its nuclei, it's got to donate it to the cracks in the domes. That's got to take over a week, 10 days, 14 days to repair and remodel. Now, if you were to get that damage every single day, these micro injuries to your body, every time you came in the factory, you'd get rhabdo, a disease called rhabdo, and you would die in a coma in a stupor in a hospital. So shut the fuck up, all you people with this. I'm building a muscle and all that. I'm damaging muscles and fuck off, man. Christ, I hate when fucking people tell me stupid shit. And I'm not talking about people on my channel. I'm talking about these outside wackos,
Much the 2 criteria which I would judge somebody's lift off of.
That's why muscle is protected by the repeated bout effect phenomenon from repeated bouts of muscle damage. It's an adaptation process. Everything you're doing is an adaptation. You being an endurance athlete coming in all the time, Your body's adapting. By how? How's it adapting? Endurance. It's giving you glycogen, bro. ATP, it's an energy source, for fuck's sakes. Oh, you're going to say, but I'm getting a stronger lift. Yeah, that's an adaptation too. Myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength, but not the mass of the limb muscles. Man, you really, people need to really understand what the hell you're doing in the gym. If you don't know what you're getting, what is the point of going there? Yeah, man.
You know, exercise selection, to an extent, that's kind of just out of convention, you know? Like, I'll see comments on dudes' videos, that movement does not work your lats at all. But if the dude doing some kind of maybe potentially funky movement is feeling his lats just burn like they're on fire, doing something which maybe conventionally you wouldn't think would work, then guess what? Looks like he's the one stimulating his lats, and you're the one typing away, being a hater.
Okay, I'm going to kind of have to agree with him. It's all relative. Look, man, there's two types of muscle fiber, okay? There's myofibrillar and there's sarcoplasmic. What is sarcoplasmic? It's an increase in muscle glycogen storage. What he's talking about, the pump. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is glycogen storage. Get it, man? So when you come in the gym all the time lifting, you are an endurance athlete. See this? When you come in there, muscle fiber hypertrophy in response to 6 weeks of high volume resistance training, what he's doing, high volume resistance training, chronically lifting. He's a trained person. He's not an untrained athlete. He's a trained person coming in now, training as a trained young man, largely attributed to what? Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. So that ratio to sarcoplasmic, myofibrillar to sarcoplasmic, it shifts. He's got more sarcoplasmic to myofibrillars. Do you understand me? So he is not physically stronger, but he has a stronger, how should I put it? He has a stronger lift. He has a stronger force production because it's an adaptation process. You're getting these myocytic androgen receptors. Your body is compensating you with giving you these androgen receptors because they control the strength. How do they control that? The more receptors you get, the more places that those androgens have to bind, giving you maximum, see, like it says down here, maximum force production. They're required for maximum force production. Without these ARs, you're fucked, get it? So they do not control the mass. So what controls the mass? What controls the mass? They control the mass. Actually, this would control mass. Sarcoplasmic is mass, but this also controls mass. But it adds to the density and the mass. You understand me? Through the cytoplasm. Listen, the myofibrillar, okay? So when you get an increase of these nuclei, the satellite cell donates its nuclei, which is a muscle cell. That cytoplasm has a myonuclear domain size limit, okay? So it increases in the cytoplasm the size of that cell. Yes, but it has an MND size limit, okay? Then you need more of them to get whatever, more size, blah, blah, blah. But it's really difficult to get that. You have to be you can't be a chronic lifter. You have to be a periodic lifter. Periodic lifters get myofibrillar. I can't tell you how much they get. Maybe it's just a fusing to the fiber. Maybe extra fiber and a fusing. I can't tell you for sure. It depends on how much damage they're causing to the myofibrillar. There could be minute damage, which it just doesn't do anything. There's a repair, and then that's it. But then you get a repair and a donation, and then you get a repair and a remodeling. So it's all relative, bro. It depends on what you're doing, how much damage, blah. Anyways, like I said, it's more sarcoplasmic to myofibrillar. So notice here on the left, muscle fiber is sarcoplasmic. There's just a bunch of fluid in there. It's the same four of these fibers, 4 fibers. That's it. But now myofibrillar, you got more of these cells, more fibers. See that? So is he getting stronger physically? No, he is not getting stronger, but he is getting bigger. Now, he is getting stronger in force production through these androgen receptors. That's about it, okay?
And you're the one typing away, being a hater, you know, so.
I am absolutely not a hater, man. I watch a lot of people do their exercise. To tell you the truth, I don't hate anybody. You know, there's some goofballs that bother me, so I bother them with their stupid shit. You understand me? But I'm not a hater. And you doing these, even if they're partial reps or whatever it is you're doing it for a reason. Now, I don't know why he's doing that. He doesn't have to work so hard at sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, glycogen loading his muscles to get this ATP. You don't have to do all that. He's like working out as if he's doing myofibular damage. Now, that can only happen in a muscle that is periodically coming in and doing it because it has to go through repair and remodeling. By you coming in often, you are adapted. You understand me? It's protected by repeated bout effect. There's no more damage. See what I mean? It can't be. It's impossible. You cannot damage muscle every time you come to the gym. It is virtually 100% impossible. But is there a natural limit? There is absolutely no natural limit. It depends on the training that you're doing. If you're doing sarcoplasmic training like him, these are the kind of phony muscles you get. But yes, he's on steroids. Steroids are enhanced performing drugs. They are not muscle building drugs. They do not build muscles. What builds muscle are injuries and the satellite cell donating its nuclei to those cracks in the domes. Okay? If there's no injuries, forget it. There's nothing going on there. It's going to go in secondary shift, sarcoplasmic. That's it. And you're going to hear him say he's going to go eat carbs and glycogen load. You're going to hear him in this. He's going to admit to it.
Who's going to make more gains? That's all I'm trying to say there. But enough chit-chat. Let's actually see what kind of pump resulted from those couple sets.
He just says it there. What kind of pump resulted from these sets? Why is he posing and checking out the pump? Do you think a pump is a muscle gain? Do you think inflammation in your muscle is a muscle gain? Would that not be artificial? It's not going to last very long, is it?
So that was only like a 40-ish minute lift. Pretty quick. I mean, it doesn't take that long, especially just to hit one muscle group. I mean, that's kind of just
I would call him the sarcoplasmic slave.
In and out type situation. Now, when I've got a full leg day, or sometimes arms takes a little bit just because it's two muscle groups. But if you're coming into the gym and you just have one muscle group on the agenda, it should not take that long. Oof. There we go.
Very muscular anabolics do that. They give you a very nice cosmetic look. That's why they use it on horses.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, I feel pretty fucking pumped. I look pretty fucking pumped. I am pretty fucking pumped. The only thing left for me to have a successful equation is to get home. Well, no. Before I get home, stop at Cane's and get myself a caniac. That'd be perfect. Jeez. I mean, it's not going anywhere, but you're right. The hair is kind of starting to affect the pump. I'm like blocking.
You hear him keep talking about the pump, the pump, the pump. Do you know anybody that eats fucking protein and gets a pump, bro? And goes into a mirror and start posing to look at a pump? Man, you have to be fucking out to lunch to not understand what he's talking about. Sarcoplasmic, glycogen loading, what I just showed you, the pump. This thing right here, the pump, man. It's glycogen storage. It's a type of artificial muscle growth. It's artificial because it isn't based on myofibular.
Starting to affect the pump. I'm like blocking my traps. Let me put all this stuff behind me. There we go. Freaking nice old school, most muscular. Oh, I'm definitely coming back because the last couple days I've been kind of just fucked up sick-wise. I think, actually, I don't know what I think, but my body was definitely dealing with something. Some kind of, honestly, if I had to guess, probably something I picked up at the airport. But lymph nodes were fucking, they were swollen. It was not fun for me to try to get food down either. But I give it a couple more days. We'll actually be back to fully bulked, pumped up weight. Because I'm not fully carved up yet. I'm still kind of, it sounds so funny to call that in recovery, but.
See that? I'm not fully carved up yet. How many people do you, how do you think muscles are built? How many people out there do you think muscles are built by carbohydrates or protein? Doesn't protein build muscles? So why is he fully carved? Why is he eating carbohydrates? What do you need these carbohydrates for? They build muscles, do they? You think a carbohydrate builds a muscle? Yeah, it does. You know what kind of muscle it builds? Sarcoplasmic, artificial muscle growth. You guys say, oh, what is this artificial muscle growth, Master T? T, what is this, man? What is this artificial stuff, bro? See? Sarcoplasmic, it's a kind of artificial muscle growth. Bam. See that? Yeah, man.
To call that in recovery. But, you know, in a bulking context, I guess I kind of am in recovery, you know? If something affects your ability to eat, that is going to completely halt any bulking gains. And it's kind of going to set you...
See, he can actually build real muscle, but he wants mass. He just wants to chase mass. He doesn't really want that, how should I put it, that density in muscles. Muscles make you super dense. They do add to the mass, but they make you really dense. Now, how big will they make you? He's got to eat a lot of protein, and that's hard to down a lot of protein. Why? Because it's very dense in nutrients, and your cells, they fill up with these nutrients really fast, and then they don't want any more. But it's your job to try to figure out how to do that. Remember, if you want to stay anabolic, protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown. That's it. But there's nothing to build in any breakdown if there's no damage. You simply are protein turnover coming to the gym now, lifting, because you're an endurance athletes, man. You guys all are crazy. You think you need to get good at lifting weights. The gym is a place that just make you bigger, better, stronger, and faster, and then you fuck off from there and you go do your sport or whatever after. Get it? That's it. Bodybuilding is not a sport. Bodybuilding is to build your body bigger, better, stronger, and faster, and then you go do a sport. You think these running people, they want to be gym slaves the rest of their life? No, these running people, they go there, they build themselves bigger, better, stronger, and faster, and then they go and run. That's what they do to win championships and everything in running. They don't give a shit about going to a gym, okay? Lifting some weight.
Backwards. For me, and not just me, but anybody who's actually bulked seriously and eaten enough food where they gained weight consistently.
Again, listen to what he says. Bulk and gaining weight. I thought protein builds muscle. Why do you need to bulk? And gaining weight, or are you building muscle? Building muscle or gaining weight? What is it that you want to do?
Kind of have a fully gassed up weight. You have your weight where you're fully carved up. You've had a week straight of hitting your, 4.5, 5,000 calories. That's your max bulk. And if you have a day where you miss some meals, you'll drop like 2 pounds. So if you're really bulking hard.
If you miss a meal and you drop 2 pounds, was that muscle? No, it's just you're dropping fluid. That's really what he's dropping is. What he means is if you don't eat enough carbohydrates to keep replenishing the carbs and adding more to it. In other words, that's the opposite of protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown. Glycogen synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown in glycogen to build those sarcoplasmic muscles. Those are the easiest muscles to build because you could come in every single day trying to pump this glycogen into the muscles. You understand me? But you can use steroids as a catalyst to lift heavier weight to try to get some myofibular growth by causing damage to the weaker muscle fibers. You understand me? That's how steroids work. They work through adaptations. They make you lift a heavier weight than usual. But you have to be a periodic lifter and not a chronic lifter to get those type of gains. But if you're not, then too bad. I don't know. Then suffer. Get these phony gains.
It's like a fucking legit battle. But
I personally think he's wasting his time building these phony muscles. I would the thing with what's his name? Dorian Yates. He moved quite a bit for myofibular growth. He did. He got a lot of sarcoplasmic for sure. But he came in a lot denser because he had a lot more myofibular growth. Yeah, because he mentioned a lot of things that gave it away. He would go through repair and remodeling for a whole week. He was sore for many, many days. He couldn't work out, so he repaired, remodeled, he ate. So he got a lot more dense muscles. That's why he could beat Ronnie Coleman. He'd beat Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman was still too puffy. Ronnie Coleman maybe had these cutting drugs and looked good and big and puffy. But he looked big and puffy, and the difference is Dorian Yates came in dense and dry. Super dry and super dense and big. And so that's what made him superior to all these other bodybuilders. They were all puffy. They may have looked okay, but they were all puffy. And that's their problem because the sarcoplasmic. They just are not, these bodybuilders and even the ones now coming out, they are just not dry and dense. They have no density to their muscles. They're just the sarcoplasmic ratio to the one that I showed you here. The ratio to myofibrillar, sarcoplasmic to myofibrillar, they just have too much sarcoplasmic to myofibrillar ratio. And that is their problem. That's why they look like shit. So yeah, that's why he's not good.
If you're responsible, then you can get your meals in every day.
Like I said, he could do myofibrillar training, but he's impatient, and I don't know. Maybe he's not real. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't realize it. Who the hell knows? I don't know, man. I don't know why this thing is off. It should be on. I'm getting his videos.
Something I need to improve upon. The food has always been the limiting factor for me, bulk-wise. So every bulk I do get better, but I'm still not a perfect lifter. I'm not eating every meal every day on time like I should.
He doesn't have to. What he has to focus on, this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy training that he's doing, he has to focus on eating complex carbohydrates. And the best kind is potatoes. They do not spike your insulin. They're very, how should I put it? They're slow acting, slow absorbing. They don't spike your insulin, and they make you insulin. There's insulin, but it makes you anabolic. So this really helps a lot in that, doing that. So yeah, man, I would just recommend that, and maybe some protein. So he doesn't break down some proteins. You definitely got to eat some proteins, but he should focus on some high animal fat, some protein, animal protein, high nutrient protein diet, and complex carbohydrates. A potato, not rice. Rice has too much arsenic in it. I go with the potato, even though there's a lot of oxalate in it. I would drink milk, so you could remove the oxalates. The calcium in the milk will help to flush out the oxalates. You know what I mean? Depending. It's all dependent, bro. So yeah.
But I want to. So that's kind of what I'm trying to improve. But enough pose down. Let's get in the car. You want to marry me?
All right, friends, I got to go. I'll see you in the next video. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Sam Sulek. See you in the next one. Yeah, sarcoplasmic slave, man.